game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Bravery. That's my first word. I figured we'd jump right in. Oh yeah, hi, I'm here.
I haven't even got that up yet.
Oh, well, I guess I'll vamp while you open our random word generator. Yes, that's what we're doing. Click Pitch. It's a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we'll click refresh, get new words, and enunciate them to each other so that we can turn them into game designs. And then we throw it away, do it again a bunch of times, then the episode's done. So, it'll go quick, I promise. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, click.
Bravery.
General.
Oh, well, that works well. Okay, a brave general. Or maybe
Or general bravery.
just general bravery. That's just the concept. We just bring in the concept of bravery. Well, I mean, maybe we flip it on its head. Maybe, because like the cliche of the general is that they are brave. Maybe this is a cowardly general, and it's other people who have to step up and be brave or protect the general or something. Like, the general is the person who kind of holds the troops together, or at least makes the plans. Yeah.
So I'm thinking what's actually happened is people have revolted against the general and have sent him into the front lines. And so it's a guy who's usually does all the planning is now, having to hold a weapon for the first time in like 20 years. And
okay. Yeah, this is someone who is used to the high-level planning.
Yep.
And now they're literally in the field. All right, so what does that do for the gameplay then?
So I think what your character is like the character who's been assigned to like protect the general.
Okay.
So the general is like a dumb AI who like gets into scrapes, and you've got to get the general out of scrapes. Okay,
so it's this interesting power dynamic because they're your superior by multiple levels, but they're useless in this situation. Okay, you can bring some interesting sort of character stuff in there for sure.
Yeah, and the idea of being that it's kind of like how incompetent they can be, but you've got to try and make them feel like everything was their idea and their shot and all this sort of stuff. So maybe they're looking down the sights, looking at someone, and you've got to shoot at the same time that they shoot, sort of thing.
Yep. Okay, I'm kind of picturing a somewhat systems-based shooter. Whether it's procedurally generated or not, I'm not sure. I think there'd be a narrative to it, so it could be handcrafted as well. But the moment to moment gameplay is systems based in that through dialogue and your actions, the general at any point has certain opinions of you, like a certain level of respect for you, overall, or maybe just like whether they are looking down on you as an inferior, and so they're not going to listen to you because they're all uppity, you know what I mean? Or
I kind of like the idea that that's how it starts out, that they're looking down on you, like the entire time. But then when you get them out of some scrapes and they realize what you've been doing for them and all this sort of stuff.
Well, I wonder if you can, if we let the player take it in a few different directions. So to get the general to do what you want, you can either gain their respect, have them completely fearful the whole time because they are in this situation where they're now realizing, oh shit, like I could get killed any time and this is the only person who can get me through this. Or maybe you're able to like teach them to be competent and they start to respect themselves or something, there's a so sort of different paths through dialogue options and maybe even like skill points and stuff as you level up. Maybe you can make choices of whether you level up or they level up at different points. And so...
Yeah, what I'm sort of picturing is like halfway through the game, you can sort of go off and do a side quest in which you're basically stomping on all these like lower class enemies just to basically level up the general.
Well, I'm
like
actually
a montage.
There's a montage. Well, I was just thinking this game's actually ripe for some like fourth wall breaking meta stuff. So maybe they're literally like, they know about leveling up and grinding, and, you know, the general is, maybe it's not that everyone has an overall level, but the general's like level 37 in strategic planning or whatever, but a level 2 in gunfighting. And they talk about that. Like, they literally, and so when you give that general a level somehow, or you help them, you know, you give them the kill to because it means they're going to level up. They are appreciative of that on a literal sense of like, oh, thanks for that kill. It's let me level up. Like, I just leveled up my aiming, so my recoil is going to be less. Thanks.
I somehow feel a little bit more invigorated. Oh, look, my health points just went up.
I think they're literally discussing the different aspects of the gameplay in that way. And then I like that montage then of leveling up the general through grinding. Got some music going.
It starts out and he's like, you know, shooting at targets, and then it leads up to, you know, now he's shooting at like lower level infantry, and then all of a sudden he's searching for sniper nests and all this sort of stuff. When he comes out, like he's like this sharpshooter and all this sort of stuff. I don't know, I reckon that could be a bit of fun. Yeah, well, I think as a story point that works well. Like, maybe there's a reason why at that point in the story, and it could even be like on the verge of Act 3 sort of thing, like 2/3 through the game. You know, you've leveled them up a certain degree based on the different things, but this literally just lets you, and maybe you can still choose, but it gives you like 20 level points that, you know, after this montage that you can just put wherever you want. If you're a real arsehole, you just give it all to yourself. You're a superhero. You just max everything out. Max level. Turns out, you know, you see another version of the montage from another angle, and it's you who's been, you know, stomping on all these enemies and making him feel good the whole time. Well, I like the idea that you see other, and I know this isn't what you were saying, but you see other players on your side as well, and you're like discussing your levels, and you're like, yeah, I'm leveling up this general, you know. It's like a Tamagotchi. I'm thinking, you know, a very Blackadder Goes Forth-esque sort of to the whole thing. Yeah, it's that kind of dry, cynical humour. With some very fourth wall breaking meta commentary. I like it. A wibble. I haven't seen that in so long. I don't think I've even ever watched it all. Have you seen any Germans? 9. Oh, 9, you say? Oh, God. Great shit. All right. 3, 2, 1, click. Blimp. Cream. Cream blimp? I just think it's so funny that we're like, okay, who's going to go first? Fuck it. Yeah, simultaneously. Okay, cream blimp. I'm thinking in this world, like, for some reason, cream always rises to the top of everything. In this world, like, they put cream into the blimp, and for some reason, it just rises. I mean, maybe their atmosphere is milk. I just really like that idea of, you know, that's where the physics has gone in this particular universe, that something always happens and cream always rises, so scientists decided to try and put it into a blimp, and it worked. They don't know how it happens. So you're saying that, like, this is otherwise a world very similar to ours, but it's just whatever medium cream is in, it always goes to the top of that. So when you put it into a blimp, it rises to the inside of the blimp and just keeps on rising because it's pushing. I know, there's some sort of force field. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know. I kind of like that idea. That's fine. I am yes-anding that. And so, I mean, does this make cream a very valuable commodity then? Are there people hoarding cows? So. It's going to upend the beef industry. I think the cream mines are like, the most sought after sort of real estate.
The cream
all that
mines?
mining for cream. Yeah, the cream mines.
The cream geysers. Although, given what we've just said, a cream geyser would just splat straight up into the air and it would just keep going forever.
Into the atmosphere,
until it's space. And then it doesn't know which way rising is, so it just hangs out there. Cream clouds.
Yep. Until cream sort of breaks down and turns into like butter. You know how it can
so
split
does it hail
and turns
butter
into like
in this
buttermilk
world?
and huh?
Does it hail butter in this world?
Yeah, I think so. And it rains buttermilk.
Makes sense. I mean, this world sounds delicious.
Yeah, but no one actually
that.
likes this stuff because, like,
because it's just like eating dirt and drinking rainwater.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
it's a world full of lactose intolerant people.
Acid rain is just spoiled milk.
Yeah.
It fucking stinks.
That would be really gross.
I'm picturing that there was like this Hindenburg in which like all this spoiled cream and that sort of stuff just exploded and became a very volatile substance sort of thing. Okay, so I'm liking the idea of this whole world. I think what's actually happened is you're on the maiden voyage of the first blimp to take off since like their version of the Hindenburg. So you're basically the same scientist has built it and is trying to prove that it was just a fluke. And while you're up in the sky,
that the crash was just a fluke.
That the idea of the whole thing exploding was just a fluke and was sabotage. During the maiden flight, though, there's some alarms that sort of go off, and that's the start of the game.
So you're on the blimp.
You're on the blimp. You're like, I don't know, maybe not the maintenance guy. Maybe you are the scientist. So you're now sort of investigating these faults and trying to work out what's actually happening and why the previous one exploded and why this one is looking like it's going to explode as well. Okay,
so you're sort of having to start learning the physics of cream engines.
Yep.
So if the first one was the Hindenburg, this one's the Jarlsberg.
Yep. It's definitely the Jarlsberg. Or was the Hindenburg in this world the Jarlsberg?
Yeah, perhaps. Okay. So the original one, the Jarlsberg. Maybe that's the secret, is that they need to add what is it, like rennet or whatever to make cheese, and the cheese is actually gives off some other has some other properties.
Yeah, I think what's actually happening in this is that there's a spy on board that is like contaminating the mixture of the cream and like maybe adding the rennet to make the cheese.
Oh, so that's what happened
to the
actually.
previous one.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So it's sort of like an Agatha Christie-esque mystery.
Yeah, the cream boilers of this fucking blimp just exploded because everything in there turned to cheese.
and it clogged up all the the pipes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's solidified.
A fucking cream blimp can't fly if its pipes are clogged with fucking Jarlsberg.
And basically, what happens is, they sort of force the cream down with pressure and then just let it rise again, and that's what sort of keeps it up in the air. But when, that
some
makes of these
sense.
Engines turn to,
it's almost like because it's a natural force, they're just like harnessing the energy from that natural force and turning it maybe just into electricity in some way.
Yeah.
The same way that like a nuclear power plant is just harnessing radioactive, to just turn water into steam and then use that as the actual sort of build the pressure. Yeah.
So in this case, it's the natural reaction of cream that turns into buttermilk. That they've got like a recombining thing that they can recombine the butter and the buttermilk together again, turn it back into cream, and
right.
And
so it's actually a limitless resource.
Yeah,
is that
it's sort of like
what's the efficiency of fusion? Do they lose?
They actually call it cream fusion.
Cream fusion. That might be the title of the episode.
That was nice and early.
New cream fission? No.
New cream fission.
Oh man. And so is this person trying to go around and ruin all the cream reserves then because they want to bring in an alternative energy source or something?
Yeah,
I
think it's from like big oil or big water or something like that. You know, so it's sort of like
it's definitely big oil.
Trying to,
it's definitely big oil.
Yeah,
because fuck those guys. Or big coal.
Yeah. So
the fossil fuel industry.
It's all sprung from the fact that I remembered that cream rises to the top. You know, that old saying.
I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense. The same way you can make limitless energy by putting buttered toast on the back of a cat. Like, it's the same concept.
I'm just now picturing there's like a video of like the buttered toast and the cat thing, and they've actually found that first, and then they realized, oh, what if we put cream in there as well, and you see it actually
put cream into the whole mix. Yeah. Is there something that always sinks? Because if you mix that with the cream, maybe that's why they had to.
Well, I think
got
cheese
a piece
always
of
sinks.
They've got a piece of the Titanic, and I don't know. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, that was so awesome though.
It was good. Oh, this one could be tricky, but we'll give it a go. Simile.
Movement.
So I'm trying to think of some gameplay around similes, or some sort of where you're able to sort of give yourself properties if you can think of a simile. Like, I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking that the power is all about like a simile of a movement sort of thing.
Okay, so like it has to be around movement, is it? Or it has to be. Yeah, you have to be comparing it to a particular type
of movement of like an animal or something like that.
Okay, I did say this would be tricky. I'm trying to figure out. So like as fast as a slap
cheetah
on the ass.
Or whatever.
Oh, it has to just okay. So it's just that it's a round movement, as nimble as a thimble. That's not a thing.
As cunning as a fox sort of thing. And
yeah, but so is it just that you think of this and you you can then be cunning?
Yeah, I think it's more that there are like these powerful similes in the world that you're sort of going off and trying to find.
Also, like words of power. There's the similes of power.
Yeah, and it's sort of like slippery as a snake sort of thing. And then, you can then all of a sudden, slip in between.
Right. So
caves or whatever.
Is this a world where anyone who just accidentally comes up with that simile suddenly finds himself falling on their ass? Because they're now
I kind of like the idea that it's the first person to come up with a simile sort of has the power, and it like just gets this power.
So it has to be one that nobody else has thought of before.
Yeah, and basically what you're looking for is like the ancient similes. that are,
or is it just ones
hidden
that are
throughout the world.
incongruous but still apply in some way? Like, you might say as slippery as a snake, but a billion people have said that before. But if you
Exactly.
say,
but the first person that said it,
yeah, but no, yeah, the first person who did it is now the slipperiest motherfucker alive.
yeah,
But if you say, I'm as horny as a snake, nobody's ever said that before. And look, who knows how horny snakes are? They might not be that horny, but you are now as horny as a snake. Right? So it's kind of finding those similes that are advantageous but also completely unique.
Yep. God.
So, like, you can't be as drunk as a skunk or even as smelly like a skunk, but you could be depressed like a skunk and they're never depressed. They're fun-loving creatures. So now you've just cured your depression. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Good. Yep. That's kind of fucked up.
All right. Kilo.
Worse.
Worse and kilo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start with this. Kilo of what?
Worst. W-U-R-S-T.
Sure. Yes, we're in the sausage business.
Yep.
All right. I'm picturing a sausage factory. Maybe it's something around the whole adage of, like, you don't want to see how the sausage is made. I was kind of, I don't know if it's like a management, I know you hate those, but like building up a factory sort of game where you're getting to put together pipes and you just see all this fucking gross sausage meat like going through pipes and getting, combined in different ways to put spices in some of them and cheese in others and different things. And then obviously it's got to end at, something at this where it puts a fucking intestine over it or whatever.
Yep.
The casing.
Now, what are these sausages made of?
Well, maybe that's part of the whole factory. Maybe you got to maybe you're starting from live meat of some kind and you have to herd them into the grinder. And that's like how you get the sausage meat into the factory.
What I kind of want is like sentient cubes of meat that are just sort of out there, so that they're non-determinate.
Okay,
meat cubes.
Yeah. All right, and there's okay, I kind of like that. Well, because I was going towards a bit of a like you can buy the cheaper meat, and I was thinking of different animals and things, but I do like the idea of you've got just these cubes of meat that kind of flop around, but there are still different ratings to them, right? There's a hierarchy there of
3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
Yeah. And the 1-star meat is super cheap, and you go up close and it's like got grey spots and like hair in it and stuff. And I'm picturing
and sawdust.
And I'm picturing some really great shaders here on the meat, just beautifully mushy.
Yep.
But that's how you have to start out, right? You start your little sausage factory with some grade 1 or whatever, low grade meat, a grinder, and a casing and a casing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And you start selling them on the street. As you go, you can get more ingredients. You can get higher grade meat. You can improve the efficiency of your factory.
Are you kind of thinking of it like a Satisfactory Factorio sort of thing?
Yes.
That you can get some automation happening?
I'm thinking it's around automation. I'm thinking...
It's all about farm to table, but it's all automated in between the farm and the table. So effectively...
Yes. I like the idea that, you eventually get to the point... Well, that's it. You could combine it. Maybe you're also building the restaurant up front. So it's sort of this 3-in-1. You're building like the farm aspect, the factory aspect, and then the restaurant aspect, and you're literally trying to automate all of it.
Including like you can set the farms all the way down the road. You then, load it into trucks that then head on down. And then you got some robots that cook up the sausages and put them out.
Well, again, I think the idea of it being sort of a construction line, assembly line sort of idea where, you because sausages come in strings, right? And so you get to choose where to cut them. So I like the idea that literally coming out of the casing thing, you can like wind it around pulleys and stuff. You got these sausage links, and you can just pass them over a grill, and that can be how you cook them. And then at some point you have to put them through the like chopping thing that actually cuts the links and sorts them out onto plates or whatever. Or into, because you might be doing other things with them. You might be coating them in something, or you might be saucing them, or you might be putting them in buns.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then even the serving of them, you can go in different directions. You can go like autonomous waiters that are robotic, or you can just literally like run tubes, pneumatic tubes to the tables, and sausages just pop out of them. Just rain of snags. Geyser of snags.
Disgusting.
I really want someone to make. Well, I really want someone to make those cubes of meat. You could give them such personality as they just shuffle around and squish into each other. The sound effects. Oh, that would totally be our merch as well. You could just get like a meat cube plushie. All right.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Super Meat Boy, but not. Yeah,
but less sentient personality. Yeah, like it's an animal. Yeah, it's one step up from
still the same amount of hair.
Yeah.
Oh, just imagining the slight moving in and out of the breathing.
Yeah. And the screams as they go through the grinder, Just picture it.
In the next version, let's manufacture them without voice boxes.
But that's where the flavor is.
Oh.
One voice box in every sausage is our guarantee.
My next word is choral.
Okay. Mine's hitchhiker. So is this you have to like... You're driving along, you have to make sure to pick up like a tenor, a soprano...
Oh, I just can't believe that, of all things to come up in this, it was choral after we were just talking about vocal cords. Jesus Christ. I don't know. We've done singing in hitchhiking before.
Have we?
Yeah, I think we did.
I don't remember that.
Pretty sure we did a musical game at one stage to do with this.
Okay.
I don't know. There's like 152 episodes. We've gone through everything. We're just...
Yeah, we're just repeating ourselves by now. That's all right. Yeah. I'm just assuming that the people listening right now have not listened to the whole backlog, so it'll be new to them. It's fine. Hitchhiker and choral. I mean, I do love the idea of just like a barbershop quartet in a car, and
it's how they go cross country trying to get to this to like this barbershop quartet competition.
Okay, yeah, we could make it more narrative like that, it's a story-based thing. It's a road trip game.
Yep. I like the idea that, you're sort of learning a little bit about each of the people that you're hitchhiking with. I'm thinking very similar to, say, Curse of Monkey Island 3, where you could sort of select like a line, and then the other people would sing something based off of that you choose.
Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of sort of a musical...
Like how to make a whole game out of that.
Well, okay. Maybe it's a roguelike. In that, you choose your character, or you get a random character. They have a particular type of voice.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a hitchhiker. and you get picked up by a barbershop, a quartet who's missing one, like so a barbershop fucking triplet. Trio, I guess.
They're a quartet, but
a trio. They want to be a quartet. And you
I was going to say they're a quartet, but they don't like one of the members, so they're trying to...
Well, I was just thinking your voice may or may not fit into it, and you have to, like, somehow rearrange, like, throughout the game, then the idea is to get to your goal with the perfect arrangement of people to sound good or something. And you do that
But there's a secret part of the game in which you can kill the person that matches your
well, that's it. I think it is finding ways to get rid of people who don't fit your quartet, and then you randomly pick up new hitchhikers, and you're like, shit, another soprano.
This guy's really good.
We need someone who can beatbox. Or at least,
I'm just picturing like this horror game in which you're basically going across the country as this hitchhiker that's just murdering all these barbershop quartets, just trying to get like the perfect group. But then when they realize that you've murdered people, like they try to turn on you, so then you got to kill them too, and now you're going after it. Now you're trying to find a new group.
This just reminds. So, have you seen this game Chorus that just got its funding? That's
actually get its funding.
Yeah. It just reached it in the past couple of days. I'm just amused that this has come up at the same time that's out there. Looks really cool, and I can't wait to play it.
I'm glad they got it, because that was the one that was announced at PAX.
Yes. Yeah.
And they had one of the guys from Star Trek Discovery who said, "I want to be in this."
Yeah, I saw that.
He got a whole heap of people coming in for it, so that's actually kind of cool.
Definitely. All right.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yep. Nurse.
Stiffness. All right. This is not about horny, creepy guys.
No.
This is a game set in a bar, and you're nursing a stiff drink.
Well, where my mind actually took it was, you're a nurse who's trying to stop rigor mortis from like coming into like Bernie, who's just died.
Oh my god!
Like, in this remake of Weekend at Bernie's.
So you're just trying to like keep them limber. You have to keep moving particular limbs before they stiffen up.
You're trying to stave off rigor mortis.
Do you have to like keep the blood pumping in some way, or it's just the like? I don't even know what causes specifically the biological factors that cause rigor mortis, but I'm gonna look it up because it's important to this game.
Just when you said stiff and I saw nurse, I just immediately thought Weekend at Bernie's and
oi.
Click again.
Yeah. Okay. Bunker.
Feminist
bunker. So when the MRA revolution comes and the fucking creeps and incels rise up, this is the place where the not insane people go. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking that nuclear winter is actually caused by the fact that we want to just wipe out all the incels.
Oh my god! It's the war of the incels versus everyone else. Is that it?
Yep.
The people.
This has gone somewhat off the rails.
Yeah, no.
3, 2, 1, click.
It's one of those episodes.
The cream rose to the top very early.
Pastrami.
Breeze.
I thought you were going to say brie. I was like, we got a sandwich happening. Breeze. Okay. Pastrami.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know how in cartoons when a character like smells something and they start floating towards it?
Yep.
So, I think the idea is what you're trying to do is you've got a sandwich shop and you've got to like blow the pastrami smell over the city to try and get it concentrated to get people to float in and come by the sandwiches.
Okay.
So it's about setting up fans in like a like strategic positions to be able to like get the most amount of people. And it depends on where they're sort of congregated at this stage, whether you need to switch on different sets of fans and that sort of stuff.
Okay. So you kind of measure like manipulating, or at least not manipulating the breezes themselves, obviously, but you're like taking advantage of the breezes around this small town, to attract people to your shop where you have pastrami. All right. I wonder if this is like a couch competitive game where you and up to
also
three
you got
friends,
like 4 restaurants in the 4 different corners.
Yeah, and you've sort of got this maze of a town with the different streets and things, and maybe the only way you can tell which way the wind's blowing is just by you've got the visible smell of each shop.
Yep. And of course, if you use one of your big industrial fans, you can actually blow not only your smell towards like another area, but you can also blow their smell away. Yeah. Sort of thing. Yeah. So you can sort of take over the smell and like get the customers to drift towards your restaurant.
Exactly. You're trying to pull them in towards your restaurant, and when they get there, they buy something, and it's about making the most money in a certain amount of time. And then you've got certain like power-ups and things where you can like send, a robotic something out into the streets to blow in a certain direction. But, there are ways for your opponents to counter that, and this sort of thing. So you can kind of fire off different things to alter which breezes you're taking advantage of, basically.
Yeah, what I'm sort of seeing in this is that, like, you can actually send a local dog to sort of, off into the middle of like this scent and drop a big deuce.
Yes,
and it just ruins that scent.
It basically
so
blocks
they can no
it from
go
there.
Through that area.
Yeah, exactly. Like no one, because it just mixes with the scent. The scent continues, but it's now tainted, and it renders it useless for the purposes of pulling punters by their noses towards you. And I just love this idea of you can tell how engaged someone is with your smell by whether they are literally floating off the ground and coming via their nose. Like they'll start walking in your direction if they get a whiff, but once they're like fully experiencing it, they're doing the whole cartoony.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that a full experience like that is like a 5-second, or not even a 5-second, maybe a 3-second full-on smell of this, that they start floating off the ground and floating a bit faster.
Yeah.
So if you can do something to actually stop that.
Well, maybe you've got ways to like increase the strength of your smell temporarily as well. Or it's just if you're not splitting it, if you're sending the full force of it in one direction, then it's less time for them to kind of lock on to your scent.
Yeah, so I'm wondering whether it's actually whether they're actual restaurants or whether this is just a big sort of area and it's all like 4 different food trucks.
Yeah, it could be food trucks.
That you're sort of going off.
Yeah, I think you need like there needs to be like a maze of streets, and I think like every 2 or 3 minutes, the breezes change. So like you can learn which direction a breeze is going and like what streets it's heading down. But
you got crosswinds. You've got
yeah, exactly. And so they'll
I do like the idea of. I do like the idea that you've only got like maybe 2 fans that you can sort of deploy.
Yes, yeah.
That can get your scent into an area that may be full of people that you can.
Or maybe there's even a balance of like you can fire up more fans, but it takes power away from like how much meat you're cooking, or maybe the strength of the smell or something. So you can be more. You can manipulate the direction of it more, but it'll be a less powerful scent.
What I do like, though, is anytime that you set up a fan, you have to run like an extension cord from your restaurant to the fan.
And if you run too far, it like unplugs it. You have to go back.
Yeah. You can also have, your character runs around with like scissors that you can basically cut someone else's line. So you can fuck with their shit.
You can go away from your home base, which obviously leaves it open, but you can go fuck with someone else's stuff. I like that idea. That's a bit of a. I like that. It reminds me of like regular human basketball when you like jump into the other person's thing and mess with
jumping into
stuff.
the other person's base. You are running around. You're setting the fans, but you're also, if you want to move the fan from this side of the block to the other side of the block, then maybe you'll have to go back around the block because your extension cord can't go that far.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got to be thinking about where the extension cord is actually running.
Yeah. And if it gets cut, if it does get cut, it's permanently that length now, and unless you buy a new one or like trade off something to get another one.
Yeah.
And you can plug them into each other, of course, if you really want to take it far away. I do like that idea of basically having to manage your extension cord inventory. So maybe like between rounds or like when the winds shift, you've got like a purchasing period or something. Where it's
which you can go to like the local Radio Shack or whatever it is.
And so you can either buy fans or extension cords or like some of the other power up things. Like that's where you get to strategize, and that's what you've got to use for the next round.
But of course, your stank, it's extremely concentrated. If you have like one set of fans sort of leading it, in the way of the breeze. But if you've got like two fans setting off in two different directions, then your stank is going to actually be less powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
At the ends.
I think that's the point.
So it's the risk versus reward of, do you want to hit those two different groups at the same time?
Well, because I'm thinking that it's going to be really based on the level, right? It could also be, like you want to capture people. I think once they are caught in your smell and floating off the ground, it is harder. It's hard to get them onto someone else's scent. There are ways to do it, and obviously, like if you drop a dookie in the path of it, then they just drop because
then that's going to break that scent line.
Yeah. But so a strategy could be sending your all your smell down this one path that is kind of going to intersect where people walk to capture them before they can even hit someone else's smell, kind of thing. Like that's your strategy, except that's obviously leaving you open to another section of the map that is completely you're not tackling at all. Yeah, I think there's some really cool things you could do there, some really cool strategies.
I think the dookie thing is one of those things that only lasts a small amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's like a street sweeper that's going around that cleans stuff up.
Well, or it just dissipates. Like it might just have a timeout. And I think that the dookie is literally just a cannon. I think it's not that you like hire a dog. I think you just like fire a shit up into the air, arcs over, what happens where you want it to go.
You know what happens? You go. Your little character has got like a plastic bag on his hand, and he's running into the park, and he just picks up a fresh one and then runs.
You have to collect it.
Drops it. You have to collect it.
Well, actually, I like that then. Maybe there is just one dog constantly wandering around, randomly dropping shits. And so you may have to go and clean it up just incidentally.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea that the dog is just running around.
Well, and then that could be another strategy because maybe you can then you've got fucking pastrami. Dogs want this shit too. Maybe you can lead the dog to the enemy, like to your opponent's area, so they're going to hang out there for a while. They're more likely to just drop a shit. And disrupt their scent lines.
Yeah, so you move your fan over and just blow it in the direction of the dog, and the dog starts going with the scent lines and starts dropping dookies along the path.
Oh, this is one of those games that I want to build and just experiment with.
Yeah.
That's really
I reckon
cool.
there's some good ideas in this.
I wonder if this is just a 2-player. I wonder, anyway, I think that would come through experimentation and seeing how many it can handle, because you have to think about what happens when they mix and different things. But
the super scent, or as like a superstorm that sort of happens where, it starts melding and creates like this tornado of pastrami.
Oh my God, that's really funny. I do like that idea that if you overpower a certain area with multiple scents from the different shops, it starts like twisting and turning and creates a twister and just kills people.
I'm thinking, is there like, the complete opposite of pastrami? So pastrami is so strong.
Imatsap.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, if people don't want pastrami, or if they smell something else that is like a polar opposite of pastrami and they want that instead, then that's what, is sort of like it's sandwich wars effectively.
Right.
But it's, one store, is all about pastrami. The other store is all about like corned beef or something like that. I think pastrami is beef anyway, so it's sort of
beef. Types of beef. Traditionally beef. You can make it from other things. I have the Wikipedia page open, of course. I mean, you could bring preferences into it like that. I feel like that might be overcomplicating it. That might be more of just a character thing. Like you can decide what your person is making. It doesn't actually affect the gameplay, but it affects what your stuff looks like. I love it.
I'm looking for the antonyms of pastrami.
Are there any?
Well, if pastrami is a highly seasoned cut of smoked beef, then it would be just a literal, just unsmoked.
It's just raw meat.
Normal, boring piece of meat.
Well, no, I think you have to find something equally smelly, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. Maybe it's cheese again.
Could be.
All right. I love it. 3, 2, 1, click.
Well, I want some pastrami now.
I want some cheese. Etcher.
Attending.
Okay. So, I mean, my word is etcher, as in like somewhat, I guess, one who etches, but of course I immediately went to Etch-a-Sketch.
Yep.
My first thought when you said attending was some sort of Surgeon Simulator-esque or like doctor thing, but the only controls you've got are like 2 knobs to like the Etch-a-Sketch, one up and down, one left and right.
Yeah, so I'm immediately sort of thinking it's like one of those, crane games where you're like doing operations with like an Etch-a-Sketch sort of thing, or something around those lines. I do like the idea of you've got X number of time and you got to try and move it forward, move it to the side, and get it in the right place to like. And I'm thinking simple things here, like pick up a pen from the table and then bring it over, and then pick up your pad and be able to write a prescription
So what are you controlling directly? Because the thing about the Etch-a-Sketch is you've got very fine control in just those 2 axes, but it's like in the traditional case, to do a drawing, that is not an easy way, particularly to do that, and also that you can't pick up the pencil in that case. So how do we move that over to some sort of doctor-based thing where that makes it difficult? Can you not pick up the scalpel? Are you trying to like do this surgery all in one line? Somehow without doing too much damage?
So it's just like a little scalpel they've cut all the way through, and now in a single cut they're like...
Also, maybe it's like a laser scalpel, right? So you've just got that point of the laser and something's gone wrong, you can't turn it off. And the only way you can control it is with these Etch-a-Sketch controls. And I'm picturing this as the perfect candidate for a game with like with a custom peripheral. You've just literally got the 2 knobs. Because actually,
I was actually. Well, because I was definitely thinking VR for this.
I guess it might have to be. That's the only somewhat traditional control scheme I can think of that would map well enough onto turning 2 knobs. But I feel like so much of it comes from
the physical turning of the
feel
knobs.
of turning a knob as gently as you can.
Yeah, so I think I do like the idea that, when you're first doing the first incision, which is literally the clothes are on the person and you've got to reasonably quickly cut through the clothes. Then that allows
I love
it to
that
fall
this
aside.
laser is just powerful enough to cut through a single layer of whatever it touches, but it cannot be turned off.
Yeah. And so the longer that you leave it on, and the next cut is very, really slow as you're sort of trying to keep it going in that diagonal sort of path.
Yep.
And that's cutting open, and it's like, okay, now I need to quickly, keep it moving, keep it moving. It doesn't do too much damage as it's moving. It's like, okay, here's your next cut, and you got to sort of go and follow along this line, rather slowly, and then keep it moving. Okay, where's my next cut? And
yeah, I guess it's
I
just
like
then. And basically, you're going to have to cut through multiple layers then of their body, pretty much. Are you doing other things as well? Is it just the cutting, or is it you need to get to this cut and then do something and then, get to the next cut? It's like, okay, I've cut through the skin. Now we need to do a separate cut through the muscle, and now we do, and now we need to do a separate cut through the rib cage. And okay, we're at the heart. We don't want to damage the heart.
So make big circles, big sweeping circles around the heart.
Whoops, I cut it out of them. Their heart falls through the floor in a perfect circle. Well, actually, I love that.
As it goes, the power's just increasing.
Oh, God. No, I think it's just cutting one layer of stuff every time. I love the idea that a strategy might be to just move the laser off the body and it just starts just cutting through the table.
If you cut a big hole in the bottom of the floor, you see through to the next floor underneath.
It's like a ward down there. It's a pediatric ward. You don't want to drop fucking someone's head on them.
You leave it on this nurse's head. She starts screaming.
I love this idea. It's hilarious. I'm not sure that the gameplay would pan out. But I love it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, this should be our last one, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Make it a good one.
More. As in
variety.
M-A-W.
I thought it was M-O-R-E.
No, not more variety.
It worked well with variety.
No, more
variety.
as in a huge, gnashing,
gaping maw. Yep. Yep.
I mean, that makes sense for something that's just endlessly hungry, right? And so having to provide it a variety of things, perhaps.
Variety of food. Yep.
All right. I'm thinking of some sort of, alien planet where there is this beast. And the sort of the locals have to, they're constantly having to just, give offering, right, to this thing so that it doesn't.
What I think
awaken.
it is it's the queen of this hive.
Yep.
So you're a worker, whatever.
Yep.
And you're having to go off and find the next thing that she's asking for.
Okay.
So it's sort of this time she wants 3 red bugs and 1 green bug.
All right, so
and
it's
you got to go off and find that.
All right. Okay, let's bring it, because I like this idea of it sort of being this society of aliens that is very similar to a beehive, but they're all sentient and humanoid even. And so there's conversation going on, and but also they can only give each other directions by dancing.
By what?
By dancing. like bees. So, you yourself can't possibly go out and get, the 3 red ding bugs and 7 crystal crunchy gems that the queen is craving right now. So you have to dance direct some people in the right direction. And so it's kind of around learning the dance moves to send off workers in the right direction and hope that they come back.
Jesus Christ.
Hope that you have told them the right thing to get and generally where it is. And it's built on the Just Dance engine. You have to physically do the dances.
Why'd you have to do that? You just ruined what was a good game.
Oh, come on. Yeah, it's a dancing game. You got to bring in some sort of actual physical motion. Otherwise, what are you doing? No, actually, I kind of like the idea that it's more of a quap-ish game where you're controlling the limbs and you have to. It's more about trying to replicate the right dances. Actually, that could be really fun.
Octodad sort of.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I have to move.
Awkward controls.
I have to do this move, then that move, then this move, and that says, red dingbug. And then I have to do this move and that move because that's going to direct them northeast. But you have to switch between, I'm controlling this arm and now I'm controlling this leg with a thumbstick. I'm thinking maybe the left thumbstick controls the left leg and left arm, but you have to switch between them, like with the bumper or something. And then obviously the same on the right. And I don't know, add some complexity in there. The trigger makes you do jazz hands or something. I don't know. But so it's really easy to mess it up. You can accidentally send someone off in the wrong direction. You're like, oh fuck, I've got to start over with the next worker, and you've got a limited amount, so you might have to wait for them to come back with the complete wrong thing. And maybe that's part of it. You have to. You are the choreographer, or you're the dance lead of this hive, and not only do you have to send people out to get the stuff, you have to send them out to find where the stuff is. So one of the moves you have to do is say, scout this direction. And they'll come back and say, well, I saw this, and this there. These resources are there. And you're sort of filling in generally your directional map so that when the orders come from the queen of I want this, you may or may not know where to send them. And it's like the resource management around sending those workers out via dance. What do you think?
That's very different to where I was going to go.
All right, tell me yours.
So mine was more an action-adventure sort of thing of going out into different lands and searching for the thing that she wants. And at first it's nice and easy to actually find. It's sort of go just outside the cave and look, all of a sudden there's 3 red bugs and a green bug. But later on she's asking for, the crunchy crystal, and that sort of stuff. And then you're having to go further and further and further and sort of remembering where you saw this previously. So it's sort of a memory game while also sort of an action platformer.
So is there a narrative to it as you go, or is it procedural? Is this more like a roguelike-ish kind of thing?
What I kind of like about it is that as you go, initially you're just doing things because the queen's sort of told you that you need to, and you believe in following these orders, but it's more around as you're out there and you see all these other people who have, maybe you saw earlier in the story, but they sort of have not come back.
Okay.
And you find out that being close to the queen is actually giving off this pheromone that makes you want to follow her orders.
Oh, okay. So there's some sedition going on, and there's an aspect of do you go back or not?
Yeah.
Or stay free? Okay.
Yeah,
I can see that being good.
Kind of like
I do particularly I do like the idea of some procedural generation in that, where each time you play, it's a different map, so it is new each time, and remembering where stuff is. And it's like, oh crap, where are the crunch caves this time? And you generally know, it's going to be mountainous area, so you can kind of head in that direction. So is there combat and stuff like along the way? Is that kind of you're fighting through?
Yeah, I think there is some combat, but it's not the main part of the game. It's just that your combat is there to protect yourself.
Yeah, it's like you are traveling to find this stuff, and along the way you will come come upon things that want to kill you. So you need to be able to fight back. Okay.
But the majority of the time, like if you go, actively searching to kill these things, then, maybe the AI will actually start realizing what you're trying to do and gang up on you a little bit more.
Well, and I like the idea that
you're
as
trying
you get harder and harder quests, it's like, I want to eat eggs of the, spider elephants from the north. So you have to go into their
these
cave.
Massive 8-legged elephants with
8 trunks.
Oh, I'm just imagining that 8 trunks.
Yeah.
How many legs?
Just 4.
Just 4 legs. Where does the web come out of?
You don't want to know.
Jesus Christ, that's so wrong.
All right,
okay,
so
I reckon we
for
can call
people
it
at home, tell us which what was my more and variety? I don't know. I think I'm calling this the Voracious Queen. Tell us which Voracious Queen game you liked better. My dance strategy thing, or Trevor's action adventure-y, roguelike-y kind of fun combat game. I think they both had their high points.
Yeah. Definitely. Cool. Mine happened to come from spider elephants, because that is just a scary...
Well, I was high when I came up with that. So that was a high point.
I'm just imagining creeping into a cave and then all of a sudden looking up and seeing this big elephant on the ceiling.
You just hear from 8 trunks at once. Just comes crashing down.
Jesus Christ, that's scary.
All right, well, I think we'll finish it up there for tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to find us online, you can go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. All of our bits and pieces are on there. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Check out our YouTube. I don't know if we'll ever put anything new on there, but hopefully. We are also on 8bit.net. If you want to go and check out 8bit, they are a collective of podcasts, mostly gaming podcasts, pop culture podcasts. We were on Comedy Rewind a few weeks back, and they're just a great bunch of people who make podcasts. Podcasts. Check them out, 8bit.net.
More podcasts can be found at the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Search for @AGP Network on Twitter or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. Finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
Hell yeah. So, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
I just creamed my pants and I'm floating.